Welcome to TV Africa News. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahabi Kajura, but first are the headlines. Serere County MP Bishop Patrick Okabe, wife died in road accident. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa seeks re-election. Liberia's opposition supporters rally in Monrovia. In a sports news today, Lionel Messi leads Argentina to World Cup glory despite Mbappe hat-trick. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Please start with one of our top stories. The Forum for Democratic Change President Patrick Amoriat has asked the government to invest more funds into agriculture than hoodwinking Ugandans with non-existent poverty alleviation programs. Our reporter Nalugo has more.
In his end-of-year address, Amuriat said 80% of Ugandans are into the agriculture sector, but instead the government opts to allocate the lion's share to security and debt financing than sectors that directly benefit people. According to Amuriat, agro-industrialization takes 8th position on the budgetary priorities list, which clearly shows lack of political will. He called for improved budget in the agriculture sector rather than wastage of resources in non-existent community development programs like parish development model, which like others before turned into a gimmick to hoodwink the public.
And if the government was making deliberate efforts to reduce it in the future and then tighten its grip around wasteful expenditures, this would take place soon enough before we go above the acceptable threshold of 58% debt to GDP ratio. Today we are almost at 45% debt GDP ratio.
President Amuriat talked about a number of issues such as environmental conservation, election irregularities and malpractices during elections, and the current security situation where police posts and stations are attacked by the unknown assailants.
Moving on in our top story, Serere County Member of Parliament Bishop Patrick Okabe has been confirmed dead in a motor accident along the Mbale-Tirinyi Road.
According to the Bukedi North Police spokesperson ASP Immaculate Alaso, the accident happened at 7 a.m. on Monday at Naboya in Budaka district when the vehicle, a Land Cruiser registration number UBK 995F, in which the legislator was traveling, collided with the truck with Kenyan registration numbers KCX 0710K. Alaso said that the cause of the accident has been attributed to the Isuzu box body driver who drifted from his side to the side of the Land Cruiser that was coming from Mbale heading to Iganga and had a head-on collision. The Bukedi North Police spokesperson said the legislator died on the spot, whereas his wife, Christine Okabe, was rushed to Mbale Regional Referral Hospital in a critical condition but later passed on. The driver of the Land Cruiser, only identified as Jacob, remains in critical condition at Mbale Regional Referral Hospital. According to ASP Alaso, the driver of the truck is currently on the run, whereas investigations into the actual cause of the accident continue.
Now we take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In international news, Moise Katumbi, a businessman and former governor in the Democratic Republic of Congo, announced on Friday that he will stand in the country's presidential election in December 2023. We have the report.
Moise Katumbi's announcement came against a backdrop of violence in the country's east after fighting resumed on Friday between M23 rebels and rival armed groups after 10 days of relative calm. In the DRC, the presidential poll is held at the same time as parliamentary, provincial and local elections. The president-elect would then take office in January 2024. President Felix Tshisekedi came to power in January 2019, succeeding Joseph Kabila after 18 turbulent years as a leader. It was the country's first peaceful handover of power. He has already announced his intention to run for a second term, despite clashes over the results. Other possible contenders could include Martin Fayulu, the runner-up in the 2018 presidential polls, who claims he was deprived of a victory in the vote. Augustine Matata Ponyo, another ex-premier, has said he will run.
Around 4,500 ANC delegates from South Africa's 9 provinces gathered on Saturday at a conference center on the outskirts of Johannesburg to elect their next leader and contender for the 2024 general elections.
Despite a recent scandal, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa is seeking re-election for a second term and still enjoys the official support of the party. The only rival to the South African president is his former health minister, 66-year-old Zweli Mkhize, with significant less support. The party, which has been in power since the end of the apartheid, has been losing ground in the polls for the past decade. Last year, for the first time in the party's history, its share of the vote fell below 50% in local elections. 30 years after the end of apartheid, South Africa is plagued by high unemployment and crime rates, growing poverty and inequality, and record power cuts as the energy crisis worsens.
Away from that, opposition supporters in Liberia have staged a rally in a suburb east of the Liberian capital, Monrovia. The demonstrators demand government action in the face of increasing hardship. Take a look at the story.
Opposition party collaborating political parties blamed President George Weah for the attacks launched against one of the organizers of the event. Since the announcement of the rally, that government and party officials have criticized the initiative. Earlier, a group of young people stormed a radio station in the capital when a representative of the opposition was due to appear as a guest. The group stood outside the building, holding weapons and chanting pro-government slogans.
Moving on, France and Morocco announced on Friday the re-establishment of full diplomatic relations following months of tensions over visas. Take a look at this story.
The row between France and Morocco was sparked in September last year when France halved its visa quota for Moroccans in retaliation for the kingdom's refusal to repatriate citizens living as irregular migrants in France. French Foreign Minister Catherine Colonna said that they are determined to go further and to write a new page together in which Morocco and France count on each other as they need each other. The Moroccan foreign minister reiterated that importance of the human dimension in the relationship between two countries. Nasser Bourita, Moroccan foreign minister, said that the decision to resume full consular cooperation was once again an unilateral decision which Morocco once again respects and will not comment on officially. During the visit, the French foreign minister took the opportunity to announce that President Macron would be visiting the North African kingdom early in 2023.
Africa Today takes a quick break. We shall come back with business, health, and sports. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In a business news, the South African presidency announced on Saturday the deployment of the military to guard the country's electricity plants. We have more on this report.
Blackouts have become routine in Africa's most industrialized nation, but further cuts imposed recently by state-owned company Eskom have generated anger. According to President Cyril Ramaphosa's spokesman, the move was in response to the growing threat of sabotage, theft, vandalism and corruption at coal and diesel-powered plants. The cuts have cost the economy hundreds of millions of dollars in lost output, as well as disrupting trade and industry. Earlier this week, Eskom CEO Andre De Ruyter announced his resignation, citing crime and corruption as the main obstacles he faced to turn around the troubled state-owned company.
In Africa Today Health, the death toll in the Democratic Republic of Congo continues to rise following heavy rain and extreme flooding that have ravaged the country in recent days.
At least 169 people have died as a result of destructive rains in the capital, Kinshasa, according to the United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs and officials. The flooding left another 30 people injured and pulverized an estimated 280 homes across the capital of some 15 million people, in which approximately 38,000 residents have been affected. The cities Mont Ngafula and Ngaliema districts were the hardest hit by the downpours, officials said. Damage inflicted after heavy rains caused floods and landslides on the outskirts of Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of the Congo on December 13, 2022.
In a sports news today, Lionel Messi led Argentina to a stunning World Cup victory, beating defending champions France 4-2 on penalties after an enthralling 3-3 draw over 120 minutes.
In a game that will go down in history as one of the greats, France twice came from behind to send the game to the penalties. Although Messi will take the headlines, Kylian Mbappe was the first player to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final since Sir George Hurst for England in 1966. Argentina dominated for the opening 80 minutes and looked to be cruising to their first World Cup title since 1986. Messi fired his side ahead for the penalty spot in the 23rd minute after Ousmane Dembele was judged to have tripped Angel Di Maria, although it looked to be a soft decision. Juventus winger Di Maria added Argentina's second goal after a fine sweeping move spearheaded by Brighton's Alex McAllister, as France looked to be suffering from the effects of illness in camp during the week. But Les Blues came roaring back into the tie when they were handed a lifeline in the 79th minute as the impressive substitute Randall Kolo Muani was tripped by Nicolas Otamendi. Mbappe scored from the spot for his first of the evening, Mbappe scored from the spot for his first of the evening before adding a stunning second just 90 seconds later to take the game to extra time. Mbappe could have done it more to win it for his country, but does come away with the tournament's golden boot. France manager Didier Deschamps praised the stunning comeback from his side, even though they fell short at the final hurdle.
Thank you so much for being a loyal audience. For more where we started from, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.